If I told you Bruce Lee built some of his legendary power by not moving, would you believe me? Because that's exactly what he did for just 96 seconds a day. What if you could get stronger, faster, by training without moving a single inch? Bruce Lee did it, and today I'm gonna show you how, why, and exactly what you can steal from his isometric secrets. Bruce Lee, 5'7", 135 pounds, not a giant, but when he punched, grown men flew backwards like rag dolls. How did he create that power that doesn't come from a 135-pound body? And it's not just punching bags, not just kung fu forms, not just fancy kicks, but by locking himself into place and pushing with everything he had against an immovable object. Isometric. Started in the mid-60s, Bruce got challenged to a fight, a real one, by traditional kung fu masters who didn't want him teaching foreigner. Bruce won, but after 3 minutes, he was gassed, furious at himself for getting winded. He was better than that. He knew if he wanted to express the human body to its limit, he needed more raw strength. So he tore into muscle magazines, found a method the old-time strongmen and Olympic coaches were buzzing about back then: isometric. If a swimmer can't get stronger by just swimming, then a martial artist can't get stronger just by punching air. Bruce read that, and he knew to punch harder, he had to train smarter. So here's what Bruce did. Every morning, he'd step inside his power rack, 8 positions, 1 bar, pinned in place. He'd squat just below parallel and push up with everything he had for 6, 7, 8 seconds. Muscles trembling, face locked in a snarl. Then he'd move the bar higher. Another angle, push again. He did the same thing for pressing, pulling, shrugging, calf raises, all angles that matched real fighting position. No fancy machines, just steel pins, a bar, and pure willpower. 96 seconds of total effort, once a day, no excuses. As Bruce said, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. Why did this work? Simple. When you push as hard as you can against an unmovable object, you teach your nervous system to fire every muscle fiber. It's like lifting a weight so heavy you can't budge it, but your body learns to recruit more power fast. And Bruce knew maximum strength makes everything else easier. Speed, endurance, skill. If you're stronger than you need to be, you're faster than they expect you to be. The next time you're about to skip your workout because you don't have time, remember this. Bruce Lee built part of his legendary power in less than 2 minutes a day. What's your excuse? We have fancy Isomax machines, force meters, dynamometers, digital readouts. Bruce just had a bar, a rack, and sometimes a chain rig he built himself. No data, just effort, 100%. He knew you didn't need to move to get stronger. You just need to try to move the impossible. So, if you want to try this, steal Bruce's basic 8. Pick a position, squat, press, pull, set a bar in a rack, or push against a wall. Push maximum effort for 6 to 12 seconds. Rest. Do another position. Done. Combine it with your dynamic lifts and fighting practice, just like Bruce. If you train like everyone else, you'll be like everyone else. Bruce didn't settle for that. That was beneath him, and neither should you. Isometrics built part of the legend. Bruce Lee wasn't just strong. He was so fast that cameras in the 60s literally had trouble keeping up with him. But here's the thing. His secret wasn't just genetic. It was how he trained. And if you stick around, I'll show you the isometric techniques Bruce used and how they can make you faster too. You've all heard the stories. Bruce could snatch a coin from your hand before you closed it, punch you an inch away and send you flying, or light a candle from across the room with nothing but air displacement. Sounds like a myth, right? But a lot of it is actually backed by footage and eyewitnesses. But how did a guy weighing just 135 pounds pull that off? The answer takes us into some forgotten science. Speed isn't just about moving fast. It's about how quickly you can generate force. That comes from your nervous system recruiting muscle fibers instantly, and your tendons snapping that force like a whip. Bruce trained those two things relentlessly. Okay, but what's the weird link between Bruce Lee and Soviet strength scientists in the 1950s? This is where isometrics come in. Bruce was a huge believer in isometric training. We actually have his notes where he outlines routines inspired by Alexander Zass and the Hedinger and Mueller studies. He'd chain himself to immovable objects, pull as hard as possible, and hold. Why did he do this? Because isometrics train your body to fire off maximum force instantly, perfect for speed. But here's the real kicker. Isometrics don't just build static strength. They can literally rewire your explosiveness. When you hold or push against an immovable object, your nervous system learns to recruit nearly 100% of your muscle fibers. That's way higher than you'll get with normal lifting. More recruitment equals faster reaction, faster strike. And tendons get stiffer, which means less energy lost and more speed delivered. No, you're not gonna move like Bruce Lee overnight. He was a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, but the way he trained short explosive isometric holds can make anyone faster. Add just a few seconds of all-out chain pulls or bar pushes into your training and you'll feel the snap in your movements. So next time you see Bruce moving faster than film could capture, remember, it wasn't magic. It was isometrics, tendon training, and a nervous system firing like lightning.
The power of a heavyweight, but the physique of a lightweight. How is this possible? Well, today, squad, we're going to explore Bruce Lee's legendary strength for size training. We're gonna dive deep into the training methods and techniques that allowed Bruce Lee to develop his extraordinary physical prowess. Get ready for this and also learn how isometrics played a crucial role in his training regime. But before we start, I'd like to say thank you so much for our No Limit Squad patrons for deciding to support the channel for as little as $1 a month. Your patronage is greatly appreciated, and with that, let's get into the secrets of Bruce Lee's strength training. Now, before we uncover the secrets of Bruce Lee's strength training, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible physical transformation he achieved. Bruce Lee possessed not only lightning fast speed and remarkable agility, but also an awe-inspiring muscularity that defied conventional expectations. It's important to note that Bruce Lee's pursuit of strength for size was not about purely aesthetic goals like it is today. It wasn't just a show. It was also about functional strength. He sought functional strength, optimizing his body for the demands of martial arts combat. His training philosophy was deeply rooted in efficiency, maximizing power, and minimizing wasted effort. Now, let's delve into the specifics of how Bruce Lee utilized isometric exercises to build his exceptional strength. Isometric exercises played a pivotal role in his training methodology, allowing him to develop immense muscular tension without the constraints of traditional weightlifting equipment. And if you haven't seen the exercises that Bruce Lee performed that were isometric in nature, here's a link right here. I'd love for you to go check that out at your leisure. Isometric exercises involve contracting the muscles without any visible movement. Think of your wall sits, your horse stances, planks, or holding any type of movement under extra load. Bruce Lee harnessed the power of isometrics to strengthen his connective tissues as well, enhance his striking power, and improve his overall physical resilience. One of the most renowned isometric exercises that Bruce Lee incorporated into his training was the one-hand push-up. By performing this exercise at various angles and positions, he targeted different muscle groups with intense static contractions, promoting both strength and hypertrophy. The amount of effort required to focus his entire body on just his feet and his fingertips is something to be admired, regardless of if you're a fitness buff or martial arts fan. However, it's important to note that isometrics alone were not the sole focus of Bruce Lee's training. It was merely part of it. He complemented his isometric work with explosive, dynamic movements to enhance his speed, power, and functional athleticism. Additionally, Bruce Lee utilized unconventional training equipment such as the Dragon Flag bench to challenge his core strength and stability. The Dragon Flag to this day remains one of the most difficult core exercises of all time, and by incorporating a variety of exercises and tools, he constantly pushed his limits, preventing plateaus and continuously stimulating muscle growth. Bruce Lee's training discipline was unparalleled. He believed in the importance of consistency and progressive overload. Consistency and progressive overload compounded over time equals the best possible result anyone could achieve. And he knew this. Each workout, he pushed himself to new heights, gradually increasing the intensity, volume, and complexity of his exercises. And this is something that we all need to truly look inside of ourselves and ask, do we truly push ourselves to the limit every single exercise? We knew what the answer was for Bruce. Let's not forget that Bruce Lee's strength training was seamlessly integrated with his martial arts practice. His ability to generate incredible force in his strikes came from the synergy between his isometric exercises, dynamic movements, and flawless technique. It was a combination of all three, and though we talk about a lot of his isometric exercises on our channel and how that creates explosive power, when you combine it with these other fitness elements, that's when you start to get incredible displays of strength like the 1-inch punch. Bruce Lee's strength for size training was a masterful blend of isometrics, dynamic movements, and functional athleticism. His dedication to developing every facet of his physicality allowed him to become an unparalleled martial artist, inspiring generations to follow. Bruce Lee's physical prowess was not solely built through training. As we all know, in the fitness realm, nutrition is paramount, and Bruce's nutrition and diet strategy played a vital role in optimizing his performance and physique. Lee followed a disciplined approach to his diet, emphasizing clean and whole foods while avoiding processed and sugary options. He believed in fueling his body with the right nutrients to support muscle growth, enhance recovery, and maintain high energy levels. Bruce Lee's diet included a balanced mix of lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. He focused on consuming a variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and quality sources of protein like chicken, fish, and tofu. Lee also emphasized portion control, ensuring he ate in moderation to maintain an optimal weight and body composition. Additionally, Lee was mindful of meal timing. He strategically planned his meals around his training sessions, consuming a combination of carbohydrates and protein before and after workouts to maximize muscle recovery and replenish energy stores. This meticulous attention to nutrition was a key factor in Bruce Lee's ability to achieve his remarkable strength and physique. Bruce Lee's training extended beyond the physical realm. He recognized the importance of mental conditioning and cultivating a focused mindset. Lee believed that mental strength was just as crucial as physical strength in achieving peak performance. There's a famous quote that I tell my personal training clients when times get tough, and that is, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. That quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it's a great quote as it teaches the importance of mental conditioning and having the right mindset. Meditation was a cornerstone of Bruce Lee's mental conditioning routine. He practiced various meditation techniques to enhance his concentration, calm his mind, and develop mental clarity. By training his mind to be present and focused, Lee was able to channel his energy and perform at his best during intense training sessions and martial arts competitions. Additionally, Lee utilized affirmations and visualization exercises to reinforce his belief in his abilities and visualize success. A little off topic, but if you guys are interested in this, I highly recommend the book What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. Fantastic book on this. By visualizing his desired outcomes, he cultivated a strong sense of self-confidence and harnessed the power of his subconscious mind to drive his training efforts forward. Something that's also mentioned in the book Think and Grow Rich, which Bruce Lee read. Bruce Lee understood the importance of recovery and injury prevention in maintaining his physical condition. He recognized that overtraining and neglecting rest could hinder his progress and increase the risk of injury. Thus, he incorporated strategic recovery practices into his training routine. He dedicated time to stretching and mobility exercises to maintain flexibility and prevent muscle imbalances. These practices helped improve his range of motion, reduce the risk of injury, and optimize his overall performance. Another reminder that it's the combination of all of these fitness regimens over time which led to all of Bruce's feats of strength and his impeccable physical condition. Speaking of conditioning, sleep. Quality sleep was a priority for Bruce Lee. He understood that sleep played a crucial role in muscle recovery, hormone regulation, and mental well-being. By prioritizing adequate rest, Lee ensured his body had ample time to repair and recharge, allowing him to approach each training session with optimal energy and focus. Lastly, Lee incorporated self-care practices such as a massage and foam rolling to alleviate muscle soreness and promote circulation. These techniques helped enhance his recovery process, enabling him to sustain high-intensity training while minimizing the risk of overuse injuries. By implementing these recovery and injury prevention strategies, Bruce Lee was able to sustain his rigorous training regimen and continually improve his strength, speed, and overall performance. One of the greatest takeaways that we can take from this video is to embrace this approach and understand that it's a combination of all of these practices, because a lot of the time we just focus on the workout aspect and we may be missing out on these other key factors that all play a role in the ultimate culmination of peak fitness and being in the best shape. I hope you've been inspired to push your own boundaries and unlock your true potential. Remember, the path to greatness requires discipline, perseverance, and a burning desire to be the best version of yourself. If you're talking about sports, that's one thing. But when you're talking about combat, as it is, well then, baby, you better train every part of your body. Famous words from Bruce Lee. And one of my favorites, we're gonna cover why Bruce Lee picked these specific 8 iso chain isometric exercises. What was so alluring about these 8 exercises that even the dragon found value in them to do them every day in a 1x6 to 12 protocol? Let's dive into it. So as a recap, if you haven't seen the original video on Bruce Lee's iso chain isometric exercise routine, here's the link right here. Go ahead and check that out. Already covered it. So we're going to go into more detail. So the 8 exercises, just as a recap, are the shoulder press from the top position, the shoulder press from the bottom position, the calf raise, the high pull, the front squat from mid position, the shoulder shrug, the deadlift from mid position, and the front squat from the top position. Now, why these exercises in particular? Well, the first thing that we can say, looking at the whole program in its entirety, is that it hits every single muscle group. It hits literally everything: posterior chain, anterior chain, upper body, lower body, core as well. No wonder the dude was so freaking strong and fast. So the duration is 6 to 12 seconds for every exercise that he does. It's one set, so it's a one protocol. The rest times are about 30 to 40 seconds in between. It's a lot longer than the normal 20-second rest that we normally give for the 1x6 or 3x6 or even 6x6 protocol. The standard is performing on the iso chain in a 6-second contraction to gain strength, and we're doing that multiple times. The usual protocol is to rest for 20 seconds, but Bruce went for 30 to 40 seconds of rest time. Well, the first thing that I can say is that when he was going into these, sometimes he would be longer than 6 seconds. So I don't know if anyone on the squad has done a 12-second all-out isometric contraction, not yielding. I'm talking about overcoming. That is a different beast entirely. I challenge you to try it out. Hey, pause the video if you want to and give it a shot. It is a little bit of a different. I mean, you're going for double the amount of time than a regular 6-second contraction. So I can see why he would go for 30 to 40 second rest time. Also, having these increased rest time really worked well for him, because you have to think about all that Bruce was doing. Weightlifting, he had a cardio program, he had a martial arts program, and then he had his isometric training program. So if you want to throw in the sparring too, that kind of fits into the martial arts. This guy was always physically active. There wasn't a day that went by where he wasn't doing something physically active. But he also favored very low volume, in this case the one set, because he wanted to avoid becoming overly muscular bound and tight. He wanted to be loose and still have that whip, snapping strength. That was probably a very poor demonstration of it. Lee also expressed that he didn't want his strength training to interfere with his martial arts. He wanted to be as efficient as possible, to build as much strength and power as possible without throwing on all that bulk. He didn't really care about bulking season, and because of that, he felt that the isometric was a perfect fit for that. Now let's go into the exercise. When we talk about the shoulder press, and for him, it was the top and bottom position. Some might argue that, oh, it's all about the, the bis and tris for a stronger punch. And while the tricep, not so much the biceps, while the triceps do add to punching and striking power. If you look at this example right here, where is most of the force coming from? This is not talking about kinetic chain. This is not talking about proper technique coming from the feet all the way up. We already have a video on that. If we're just talking about the biomechanics of me moving my arm, I'm sitting on the grass right now, highest velocity from my fist here to the camera. What's the most important? It's the shoulder. Strengthen those up, and that's why he doubled up on it. He got the top position and the bottom position. I'm actually surprised he didn't do middle, but maybe he just thought it was a bit extra because he's still getting the spillover of up to 20 degrees from here and 20 degrees from here. So I guess that was good enough for him. Clearly it was good enough for him. He's also getting tricep involved in the shoulder press as well. So that's great. Of course he's on point. Brings us, and now we were just talking about the kinetic chain and having the proper form from the feet all the way up to the hand to get all that twisting motion with the abs. All right, so let's go down to the feet. And the best thing to really hit that is the calf raise, which he did. The calf raise from standing position. He didn't do the seated one like we like to do. He did the standing position calf raise. Why powerful calves? Now, the calves are part of the explosive leg movements that he has. If you look at top tier martial artists, remember they are explosive. While the quadriceps and hamstring, we'll get to those in a minute, do play a role in having a very efficient leg that's required for high powered kick. The basis of the explosive power comes from the calf, and that's why he put a lot of emphasis into it and decided to put that in his program. Now let's talk about the squat. He did the front squat from mid and top. So the answer lies again in the knowledge that we have for the spillover and angular specificity. Now, if you haven't seen our video on angular specificity, here's a link right here. Go ahead and check that out. It's really good, and it's important to know about the angle spillover. This is exactly why Bruce did bottom and top position for shoulder press, but he felt no need to get a third and go for mid. But he still wanted to double up on those because he felt the importance, and that's why he did that again with the squat. So from top position and mid position, he felt was good enough because very rarely would he be in a crouch position throwing a kick, unless he just got up off the ground and he's in a squat position from low position. So the angle is here for a squat from low position. So how often would he find himself like this? He wanted to get here and here. He's all about efficiency. And why those muscle groups? The quadriceps and hamstring and the glutes, which are also getting hit, super important. You want strong legs, you have to build up your quads, you have to build up your hams. And he knew the value of a squat. So that's why he performed the front squat in those positions. He knew the value. There's no way he wasn't going to add them in his routine. And the easiest to set up on the OG Iso. Now, let's talk about some posterior chaining for a bit. Let's talk about the shrug. Why would Bruce Lee want the shrug in his routine? I can tell you right now, this is easy. Ready? A stronger neck decreases the chance of someone knocking you out. What causes a KO? Usually it's when you get juggled like that. Like think of like whiplash in a car, or strong forces that like whip you back. Prime real estate for getting knocked TF out. He was like, that can't be happening with me. And he's only 135 pounds. So he wants to build traps of steel. But when he gets hit, it's just like, all right, sure. Does that mean he won't take damage? Of course he'll take damage, but the chances are significantly reduced with a freaking iron neck. He wanted to pull for 6 to 12 seconds. Honestly, I think that's fantastic. Shrugs are really great for building a strong and powerful base, which goes into the high pull. So the high pull, you usually don't see on the channel too much. The reason why you don't see me doing it personally is because I actually take care of that in my weightlifting routine. So I don't feel the need to double up on it with the iso chain. But maybe I should add it in. I mean, it's a great exercise. So these posterior chains better be good to back up all that anterior chain work. And they are, because that's going to bring us to the last one, which is hitting up the entire body. It's the total body, and it is the deadlift, the tried and true. You want to work every muscle in your body. That's it. Very, very powerful exercise, and probably one of the best ways to develop strength throughout our entire body. He chose the mid position. To me, that makes sense. I don't see the point in really doubling up on a low and high position for deadlift in the program when you just hit everything else. Like, so we had shoulder press in 2 positions. We had squat in 2 positions. Why would we have to get deadlift? We already hit some of the muscle groups that the deadlift hit in other exercises. So why double up on that? Now we're just wasting time. Remember, Bruce Lee is all about being efficient with his time. So that is why he chose mid position for deadlift. You're getting the best bang for the buck. hitting here, getting spill over here, spill over here. If it's too much, we got the squats to take care of it. If it's too much, we got the shoulder press to take care of it. He also decided that he wanted to finish every iso chain session with hanging leg raises. Select amount of people work their core, and even fewer of them work it hard. They don't work their core like they hit their showy muscles like the chest, the buys, and a strong core is going to break limits for anyone incredibly fast. I teach core to my clients immediately.
Immediately.
One of the first things that we learn, because when you have a strong core, all of your lifts go up, all of them, not some, all of them, because everything comes from your center. So having a strong core actually allowed for Bruce Lee's iso chain exercises to be taken to even that much higher of a level. Conditioning is what Bruce was all about. He's about technique, he's about form, and he wants the martial arts practitioners to have skills, because if they don't have skills, then what's the whole point of doing it? But he also was a very avid enforcer of also having a strong body, because I've mentioned this on the channel before. Or if you take, let's just say you take a front snap kick from somebody with technique, it's gonna hurt. If you take a front snap kick to wherever the kick is landing, it's going to hurt. But if you take a front snap kick from somebody with skills and a physique, and they train their body, the person that trains their body and has good skill is going to beat the person that just has good skill. It is what it is. It just makes sense to me. It's a simple mathematical addition problem. All right, guys, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, go and comment. If you want more videos on Bruce Lee and the iso chain, comment down below. I'll be more than happy to go over. I love these videos. All right, and if you're not yet part of the squad, hit that subscribe button. Come join the squad with us. We've got a Patreon too. We really appreciate your support. We have pledges for as little as $1 a month, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.